Why IKEA is different. Imagine walking into a store to buy just one bookshelf. 20 minutes later, you have a shopping cart filled with candles, kitchen utensils, plants, storage boxes, and a hot dog in your hand. None of those things were on your shopping list. So, what just happened? Was it an accident? Or was everything carefully designed? Every year, nearly 1 billion people visit an IKEA store. Some spend hours inside. Many buy products they never intended to purchase. And almost everyone follows the exact same path. This isn't luck. It's psychology. Behind the famous blue and yellow buildings is one of the smartest retail systems ever created. A company that completely changed how the world buys furniture. But IKEA didn't become a global empire because it built the best tables. It became successful because it reinvented almost every step of the furniture business. From manufacturing, to shipping, to store design, to customer behavior, everything was reimagined. Today, IKEA operates hundreds of stores across dozens of countries. It generates billions of dollars in revenue every year. Yet its greatest innovation isn't a chair, or a table, or even a bookshelf. It's a business model that competitors have struggled to copy for decades. This is the story of why IKEA is different. Chapter 1. A boy who saw opportunity everywhere. Long before IKEA became a global brand, there was a young boy living on a small farm in southern Sweden. His name was Ingvar Kamprad. He wasn't born into wealth. His family lived a simple farming life. Money wasn't abundant, but Kamprad noticed something at a very young age. People always wanted cheaper products. When he was just 5 years old, he started buying matches in bulk from Stockholm. Then he sold them individually to his neighbors for a small profit. It wasn't much money, but it taught him one important lesson. Small profits, repeated many times, can build something much bigger. As he grew older, he expanded his tiny business. He sold Christmas cards, pens, seeds, wallets, picture frames, even fish. If people wanted it, he tried to sell it. Most children were playing outside. Kamprad was learning how markets worked. By the age of 17, his father rewarded him for doing well in school. Instead of spending the money, Kamprad invested it. In 1943, he officially founded a company. He called it IKEA. The name wasn't random. I and K came from his initials, Ingvar Kamprad. E came from Elmträd, the family farm where he grew up. And A came from a Gunnerid, the small Swedish village he called home. At first, IKEA wasn't a furniture company. It sold everyday household products through mail-order catalogs. Customers placed orders by mail. Products arrived days later. Simple, cheap, efficient. Even in those early years, Kamprad wasn't trying to create luxury. He wanted to create value. That idea would eventually define everything IKEA became. But one decision would change the company's future forever. Furniture. Chapter 2. The problem everyone accepted. Today, affordable furniture feels normal. But in the 1940s, it wasn't. Buying furniture was expensive. Very expensive. Most pieces were handcrafted. Production was slow. Transportation was costly. Stores carried limited inventory. For many families, a dining table wasn't an impulse purchase. It was a major financial decision. The furniture industry believed high prices were unavoidable. Kamprad disagreed. He asked a simple question. Why should only wealthy people have beautiful furniture? His answer was surprisingly bold. Instead of targeting rich customers, IKEA would focus on ordinary families, young couples, students, first-time homeowners, people who wanted modern furniture without paying luxury prices. Sounded like a great idea, but there was one enormous obstacle: cost. Furniture was difficult to transport. A single wardrobe occupied huge amounts of space inside a truck. The more space each product used, the fewer products could be delivered, and every delivery became more expensive. Most companies accepted this reality. Kamprad refused to. He believed there had to be a better solution. So IKEA started looking at every single cost inside the business. Could materials become cheaper? Could manufacturing become faster? Could warehouses become more efficient? Could customers participate in the process? These questions would eventually lead to one of the biggest innovations in retail history. But strangely, the breakthrough didn't happen inside a boardroom. It happened by accident. A simple wooden table that wouldn't fit inside a delivery truck would completely change the future of IKEA. And eventually, the entire furniture industry. Chapter 3. The idea that changed everything. In the mid-1950s, IKEA was growing. More customers, more orders, more furniture. But there was one problem: transportation. Large furniture was expensive to move. A single dining table could take up the space of several smaller products. Every truck left the warehouse half empty. Every shipment cost more than it should. The furniture itself wasn't the biggest expense anymore. Moving it was. Then, something unexpected happened. One day, an IKEA employee was preparing a wooden table for delivery. The table wouldn't fit inside the truck. Instead of finding a bigger vehicle, he simply removed the legs. Suddenly, the table fit perfectly. It looked like a tiny decision. But for IKEA, changed everything. Instead of shipping fully assembled furniture, why not ship every product flat? At first, the idea sounded strange. Customers had never assembled their own furniture before. Would they accept it? Would they understand the instructions? Would they be willing to do the work themselves? Ingvar Kamprad believed they would, because they weren't just buying furniture. They were buying lower prices. Flat-pack furniture completely transformed IKEA's business. A single truck could now carry far more products. Warehouses stored more inventory without becoming larger. Shipping costs dropped dramatically. Damage during transportation became less common. And customers could take products home immediately. No waiting. No expensive delivery. No large moving trucks. Just a flat box and an instruction manual. But there was another hidden advantage. One that most customers never noticed. By assembling the furniture themselves, customers were replacing an entire part of IKEA's workforce. There was no need for large installation teams. No need for complex delivery services. No need to pay workers to assemble every product before shipping. Millions of customers were doing the final step for free. And surprisingly, most of them enjoyed it. Psychologists later gave this behavior a name: the IKEA effect. People tend to value something more when they helped create it, even if creating it simply means tightening a few screws. The bookshelf isn't just another product anymore. It's your bookshelf. You built it. You invested your time. And because of that, it feels more valuable. A simple flat box created one of the most powerful psychological advantages in modern retail. But IKEA wasn't finished, because getting customers to build the furniture was only half of the strategy. The other half started the moment they walked through the front door. Chapter 4. The maze you never noticed. Think about the last time you visited IKEA. Did you walk directly to the checkout? Probably not. Instead, you followed a long path. Room after room. Kitchen after kitchen. Living room after living room. Bedroom after bedroom. It almost feels like there is only one way to go. That's because there usually is. Most IKEA stores are designed using what experts call a guided layout. Instead of allowing customers to freely explore, the building gently guides them through almost every department. This isn't done to confuse people. It's done to increase discovery. Imagine you came to buy one desk. If the desk section were right next to the entrance, you would probably grab it, pay, and leave. Instead, you're guided through dozens of beautifully designed spaces first. Each room tells a story, not about furniture, about life. Cozy apartment, perfect family dinner, a modern home office, a child's dream bedroom. You're not simply shopping. You're imagining a better version of your own home. That emotional connection changes how people buy. Products don't feel like isolated objects anymore. They become part of a lifestyle. And then something interesting happens. Along the main path, you'll notice hundreds of small items: candles, bowls, plants, picture frames, kitchen tools, storage boxes. Most cost only a few dollars. They're inexpensive enough that buying one doesn't feel like a big decision. But when millions of customers add just a few extra items, those tiny purchases become billions in additional revenue. Retail experts call these impulse purchases. IKEA makes them feel natural. Nothing is forced. Nothing feels like a sales pitch. Everything simply appears at exactly the right moment. Even the famous shortcuts inside many IKEA stores are interesting. Most people don't use them. Why? Because once customers start following a path, many prefer to continue instead of turning back. It's a small psychological effect, but across millions of visitors, it becomes incredibly powerful. Then, just when customers begin feeling tired, something unexpected appears. The restaurant, Swedish meatballs, fresh cinnamon buns, coffee, desserts, affordable meals. Some people visit IKEA just to eat, but the restaurant serves another purpose. Hungry shoppers become tired shoppers. Tired shoppers leave earlier. By offering food inside the store, IKEA encourages customers to stay longer. And research consistently shows that the longer people remain inside a store, the more likely they are to make additional purchases. Even the famous $1 hot dog near the exit isn't random. It's the final positive memory before customers leave. People walk out thinking, I should come back again. Almost every part of the IKEA experience has been carefully designed, not to pressure customers, but to make shopping enjoyable, comfortable, and surprisingly memorable. The furniture may bring people inside, but the experience is what keeps them coming back. Chapter 5. The machine behind the furniture. By now, you might think IKEA is simply a furniture company, but that's only part of the story. In reality, IKEA is one of the world's most sophisticated supply chain businesses. Every product begins with one question: how can we remove unnecessary cost without removing value? Most furniture companies design a product first, then ask how much it will cost to build. IKEA often starts from the opposite direction. It decides on a target price, then designs the product around it. If a table needs fewer screws, it uses fewer screws. If a shelf can be made with less material, the design changes. If packaging can be made smaller, the product is redesigned. Every tiny improvement matters, because when you sell hundreds of millions of products, saving just $1 per item becomes hundreds of millions of dollars. This philosophy reaches far beyond the factory. IKEA works closely with suppliers around the world. Instead of constantly changing manufacturers, it often builds long-term partnerships. Suppliers invest in better equipment. IKEA receives lower production costs. Both sides benefit. The company also tries to source materials efficiently and responsibly. Wood is one of IKEA's most important raw materials. Because of that, the company invests heavily in understanding forests, timber markets, and sustainable sourcing. For IKEA, managing the supply chain isn't just about reducing costs. It's about making sure products can still be delivered years from now. And while customers usually see only the showroom, behind the scenes, an enormous global network is constantly moving materials, components, and finished products across continents. Thousands of suppliers, distribution centers, ports, trucks, ships, all working together to make sure a simple bookshelf is waiting on the exact shelf where you expect to find it. That level of coordination isn't easy. It takes decades to build, and that's one reason competitors struggle to keep up. Chapter 6. Why no one has copied IKEA. At first glance, IKEA doesn't look impossible to copy. Sell affordable furniture, use flat-pack boxes, build large stores, serve meatballs. Simple, right? Not quite. The real advantage isn't any single idea. It's how all the ideas work together. Remove one piece, and the entire system becomes weaker. Flat-pack furniture reduces transportation costs. Large warehouses reduce storage costs. Self-service shopping reduces labor costs. Showrooms inspire customers. Restaurants keep visitors inside longer. Affordable accessories increase the average purchase. Global sourcing lowers production costs. Long-term supplier relationships improve efficiency. Each idea supports the next. Together, they create a system that is incredibly difficult to replicate. Many companies have copied individual parts of IKEA. Some copied the store layout. Others copied flat-pack furniture. Some tried selling inexpensive home accessories. But copying one feature isn't the same as copying the entire business model. That's why so many competitors failed. They copied the furniture, not the system. The lesson, perhaps the biggest lesson from IKEA, has nothing to do with furniture. It teaches us something much bigger. Most businesses compete by making better products. IKEA competed by redesigning the entire customer experience. It didn't ask, how do we build a better chair? It asked, how do we completely change the way people buy chairs? That's a very different question. And sometimes, the companies that ask different questions create entirely new industries. Today, millions of people proudly assemble their own furniture. Something that once sounded inconvenient has become completely normal. That's the power of changing expectations. Not through advertising, not through expensive marketing, but through smart design. Cinematic ending. The next time you walk into an IKEA store, take a closer look. Notice the path. Notice the room layouts. Notice the small items near every corner. Notice how many products fit inside a single shopping cart. Everything around you has a purpose. The blue and yellow building isn't just a furniture store. It's the result of decades of engineering, psychology, logistics, and business strategy. A place where every shelf, every price tag, every cardboard box, and every shortcut exists for a reason. That's why IKEA didn't just change furniture. It changed retail itself. And perhaps that's why it's still different. OUTRO. If you enjoyed this documentary, consider subscribing for more stories about the world's most fascinating companies, business strategies, and the ideas that quietly shape our everyday lives. Because sometimes, the biggest lessons are hidden inside the places we visit every week. Thanks for watching.